house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. See, I've been lost in my thoughts, and my thoughts, they too are scared to usher you off. Sorry, Mom, I just thought you were my world. Now you're not. And I'm just sitting, smoking, sloping in a daze, cause my days ain't been the same since I drove here away. I remember the way you wrote letters in blue ink. You and me was in love. Think about what your crew think. I know your moms probably think I'm a bastard. Your pops probably want to beat my death and take a in my casket. But I got sick of fighting, bickering, fussing over nothing.
Hello. This is Unsolicited with Security Boss. I am so glad you all are here tonight. Hey, guys. One
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello. Y'all look good tonight. JR, I don't think I've seen you like this before.
You haven't watched enough of my videos then.
No, I think listen, I gotta tell you something. 1 second, let me get rid of that music and so y'all can hear me. Everybody hears each other well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. JR, listen, I hate to say this, but I particularly like your videos better because they're nice and to the point instead of the person that you like to react to. I hate to say that, but I will tune into you 2 and 3 times a day before I'll go watch and do one of them long. I just can't do it. So yeah. You got my vote. I'm sorry to say it, but you got my vote. So
I appreciate it.
Definitely. Miss Over the Top, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I had a huge Christmas party, like
That's
30
right.
plus people, and trying to take away those extra toys the kids got, trying to make sure they don't have too much.
All right. So listen, we're going to just say hello to those that are coming into the chat. Stephen Day, hello. Thank you very much. Mr. Rail, Corey, how you doing, y'all? I hope everybody is good. We're going to give it a few minutes to let others come in. Remember, guys, to hit that thumbs up as you come in tonight. We got Mr. J.R. Wisdom in here with us. He is I gave you a new name. I don't know if anybody's used this or not, but I call you the Reaction King.
Oh, really?
Is that okay?
Hey, I'll run with it. Hey, I appreciate it. You got the king in there. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you your respect.
Yes,
because you actually you give it to us right, but then you kind of make us laugh, and that makes for a very good video. So I appreciate it. I definitely do.
Thank you.
And then Miss Colette, I want you to shout out your channel. Both of you, I'm gonna let y'all just shout out your channels, and then we're gonna just go through how tonight's gonna go. And anything you all want to add. It's just not really an interview. We're just kind of discussing, talking, having a good time. I'll tell you, JR, a little bit more about myself because I don't know how much you know. Okay. And, we'll go from there. Go ahead, Miss Colette. Shout out your channel.
Oh, well, my channel is Over the Top W.M.E, wife, mom, entrepreneur. And on there, I try to talk about the positive side of marriage. I've been married for 11 plus years. So I try to make sure I give somewhat of a blueprint and bring on others on there that have been married and have not been married. So we could just understand this whole thing that we call marriage. So
right. Very good. All right, JR, go ahead and shout out your channel also.
Well, I am JR Wisdom, and my channel, as of the past 5-6 months, has become a reaction channel. Originally started out covering, relationship self-help topics, or as some people would like to call it as well, red pill topics. So I do cover a variety of videos specifically geared towards, relationships, interpersonal relationships, and some contemporary relationship issues as well. So that's what my channel is composed of. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't yet. Hopefully I have something that you like.
Very good. Y'all subscribe. Y'all got to do that. So listen, I bet you didn't know what you was getting yourself into, because if you don't know me by now, Colette just introduced herself. She's married 11 years. I myself is 26 years. happily married. I consider I'm a successful marriage. So I come to YouTube with that. But I also I always say I advocate for men. I've always tried to talk to the young ladies, but the young ladies don't listen. So I always like turn to the men and say, well, I'm going to tell you all what the red flags are because the ladies just won't listen.
Right.
So we're going to add a little something to it, which is you, where you can help me, help them, so we can all get together and live happily ever after. What you think?
Absolutely.
All
And
right.
I didn't mention that I was married. So if that's anything, I was married for about, was it 12, 13 years? 13 years, something like
Wow.
that. Yeah, 13.
No, you didn't mention it, but I did a little research. I knew about it, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask you anything about that part, but I do want to know about the dating part because
Yes.
see, Colette and I've been out of it for a long time. You know,
Yeah.
some of the things we hear y'all talk about, it's almost like, no, it couldn't have. Not no, she didn't do
Yeah.
that. She
Yeah.
couldn't have done that. No, so we like, shocked. So you got to bring it to us so we can correct the problem or advise these ladies on what the problems are. Because I know a lot of young ladies that say they want to be married.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they're getting it wrong, we need to some kind of way let them know they're getting it wrong. So
Right.
that's what we're going to talk about. So, but I want to first start with this. JR, you and I have something in common. I heard you say this is some time back that you are a real estate agent.
I am.
I've
Yes,
been
ma'am.
selling real estate since 2001.
Wow.
Way
Yeah.
longer than me. Yeah.
A long time. I actually don't even do it anymore because I don't believe in it right now. I, I'm
Yeah.
turned off. Y'all. I keep feeling like I sell a house in about 10 years. Whoever I sold to go come back and hate me. So I'm just like,
Mm.
make your own decisions. Yeah, it's nice. Make your own decision. I'm not for it right now. So I'm just kind of staying away, keeping myself licensed, of course, because it was hard to
Yeah.
get, but I just don't indulge. I'm like just on the sideline looking in. So
Right.
Yeah. And
yes.
I just wanted to add real quick because I see them in the comment.
Okay.
Corey Haga.
Mhm.
I actually got this idea of questioning this dating thing from this particular gentleman. He actually brought it to my attention. And I actually remember this is a while ago. I actually was on J.R. Smith Wisdom, I'm sorry.
Right.
And we kind of touched on this dating thing,
Yeah.
like how's it going now? So it's crazy how it's all come together. You guys are the perfect people that kind of like gave me the idea. And just like solicitor saying, it's like we've been out of the dating scene for so long, it was kind of like we need to touch on this. Like,
Right.
is
Yep.
this really happening?
Yeah, 'cause some of it is just like Corey's one of my faves, though. I gotta tell you that. But also, let me say hello to Miss B. Rodney. Hello, hello. I'm glad to see you. Also to OG Patrice. Thank you for
Yeah.
being here. You all listen. A little
Shout out.
later in the show, we definitely gonna put up the link in the chat. So if you have any questions or want to add to it, definitely do so. Now I do realize a lot of people who probably watch my show are not. Well, what do you think? Maybe 50-50. But if you are dating and not married, definitely want to hear from you because, again, JR Wisdom is going to help us out because he's the one that I hear talking about it so much. And he's out there. So
Yes.
maybe I shouldn't say it that way. Maybe I should say it that way. I don't mean
Yeah.
out there, but you know what you're talking about. And listen, I'm kind of hesitant on speaking on dating because I'm not. Now, you want to talk about marriage, which we will. I can talk to you about that in detail. But the dating part, I'm gonna leave it up to the man who knows. What you think, Colette? What about you?
Yes, I really want to know definitely from JR because, like I said, we kind of touched on it and he travels a lot.
Uh-oh.
So he kind of has a little, am I wrong, JR?
You're
Like,
not wrong. No, you're not wrong.
Okay.
so he kind of has that insight for us, not just from the American perspective. Maybe he could tell us like what is going on outside of, America. Like, what's it like?
All
Yeah.
right, all right. M Mills, good to see you. And Snuggle668. How are you both doing? Thank you for coming. All right, so we're gonna just jump right into it. I do want to ask though, how long ago were you divorced?
So we separated in 2014 and we didn't get divorced till 2016. So about 5 years ago. Actually, I just hit, my divorce anniversary was December 16th. So yeah, I just hit 5 years.
Okay, so like we're gonna say, so you've been in this for like 5 years then.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been, well, actually longer than that, because like I said, we were separated for 2 years. So
I'm not gonna go back there. I'm not claiming that. I'm gonna give you the papers. Once you get the papers, then you say good. We're divorced. Okay.
I talked to I just to segue, not segue, but just to
Go
have
ahead.
a caveat here, like that I talked about this in my book and other videos. She was doing her thing well before I was still trying to get her back. She
That's a
was doing
story he should come
You
back
gotta
for.
tell them. Listen, go ahead and shout out your book because this sounds very, very interesting. Go ahead, tell us about the book.
Yeah, it's called Puppeteering with Heartstrings. That's the name
Okay.
of it.
Okay.
Basically that covers a year of my life when I came back, because I was contracting in Afghanistan, and the year that I came back, it talks about what caused me to come back, and that year, that what transpired that year after, which basically went into the whole divorce situation. And you can get that, like, if you're on my page, you can get that. It's on Amazon. Just type in Puppeteering with Heartstrings on Amazon, or you can go on my website, jrosswriting.com. Or if you can just go on my community page, JR Wisdom on YouTube, and you can find it there as well.
So what you're saying, JR, is you are an open book.
Absolutely.
All
I think that's why
right.
people like kind of, not flock, but kind of come to my channel, because they kind of say, well, this guy is, I don't, you can go click on my profile and see my name. I don't use, and it's no
Oh,
shot at any of y'all. Not you. You can actually see, I don't go off of some name. This is actually who I am. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to use, not to say that you are, but you
no, I
have
have
some of these
to.
guys. You have some of these guys who you never know their name, and it's just like, who is this guy? You know what I'm saying?
And
But
I
anyway,
like I want to add to what JR said. It's funny that you said that you are real. That's one of the reasons what drawed me into your content, is that you're not afraid to show your scars of what you
yeah,
went through. And it's so interesting when I go through your page, like I could go all the way back to when you started and you were just talking to the camera about
Wow.
your stuff, and he just really felt real, like, hey, I'm just giving you my story, this is what happened to me. But he's not bashing anyone, but at
right,
the same time he holds women accountable and he holds men accountable,
All right.
and he sure does get in trouble for that part.
yeah, absolutely, yeah,
So was writing a book therapeutic for you?
absolutely,
Very good. I'm glad to
absolutely,
hear this because, like you said, I don't know a whole lot, but I watch you all the time. So that part wasn't quite true. I do watch your videos at least 3 times a day. This is so true. But I didn't catch any of your history. So I'm
right,
glad to hear this, but I always like to respect people in their spaces. So I'm glad you're letting me know that whatever we're saying is okay to say. You
yeah.
know, whatever we're asking, questions that we're asking. So, okay, so a little over 5 years in the dating game. Now, my first question is, what would be a successful first date?
So for me, obviously, and this is dating with intention. I'm assuming what you're talking about. This is something you like actually dating. I want to, you know, see something go on besides us just making it to the bedroom. A
Okay.
successful date to me would be, because a date to me is an interview, especially the older you get, obviously, the more it's just
Mhm.
like, I don't want to waste any time. Is basically us enjoying each other's company. I like to, I mean, dinner's always good, but it doesn't necessarily have to be dinner for me personally. But I like to I'm a conversationalist, if you will.
Mhm.
So I can't, that whole vibe thing, if you can't carry on a conversation, and women normally complain about this. This is the women that complain about this, not the men more so. But if you
Okay.
can't carry on a conversation and you're just like, uh all over the place, or basically just there's not the vibe there, as one word answers, I'm engaging you but you're not
Okay.
engaging
Okay.
me. um and even though I'm supposed to ask you the majority of the questions, as a man you're not supposed to be talking, you're supposed to let the woman talk, and you're supposed to let her shine at that time, and you're interviewing her.
Okay.
And basically 70% the woman is supposed to be talking, you know what I'm saying? So you're just sitting back and just relaxing and basically just having a good. If you can't, if it's all fake and it's putting on because it's you meeting a representative obviously on the first date. But if you're just if the energy's off, I mean it's a no go. But if everything is cool, we're able to communicate. It's never like a dull moment in the conversation. We're able to go back and forth and talk about a lot of the same topics. And you're as cultured. It's not really a matter of culture, but you can talk about some of the same things that I can talk about, and you can
Gotcha.
teach me some stuff as well
Mhm.
because it's kind of one sided a lot of times when you're teaching somebody, or it's like this person is not really, you know, on, or maybe they're not used to this type of stuff. But it's just for me, it's just knowing that this person is not. You can't get divided. They're not playing around. They're not joking around. This isn't just a one of the what do they call it, the foodie date or something like that. Um,
When you
but
just go out to just
yeah,
get dinner, you're just
yeah, because I'm providing.
wasting
Yeah,
time.
my thing is I'm providing that vibe when I go out with a woman. I'm trying to provide that vibe. This is my life. This is how I get down. I don't care how you feel about it or if you feel some type of way about it, but this is my goal is to treat you like as if you were my girlfriend that night.
Mm.
Regard, and that's what I tell men. You know, you don't act like she's your girlfriend outside of that, but the night that you do take her out, you're gonna treat her like she's your girlfriend
Yeah.
that night. But other than that, I mean, you just have to take the pressure off. But that's my ideal date, I guess, if you will, is just excellent communication. You know, she had a good time, I had a good time. If it leads back to the house, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. You know what I'm saying? That's just that. But I know it's very simple. I know I didn't really
So
probably didn't
where
ask
do
the question.
you so JR, where do you usually would find your I don't want to say perfect date, but that the one that you're saying, okay, she is she is the one that I'm going to waste my time to, put in the time to take her out on a date. Where do you usually find these particular ones?
Well, you really don't know. You can meet a woman anywhere, and I would say basically in my opinion, I mean it's kind of like a given. A date, in my opinion, a date is that first interview. So I'm pretty much going to take any woman on a date. That's just
Mm.
me. You
Okay.
know, and as far as finding her, or what do they call it, some the players call it sourcing.
Okay.
It's finding
See,
as
I'm
far,
not familiar with these terms.
Wait a
yeah.
minute, sourcing and vetting some of the same?
No, sourcing is just like that's just you shouldn't call it sourcing when it comes to people. I was just joking when I said that.
Okay.
Sourcing is just like when any product that you get for a business, you source it from somewhere.
Okay. I
You
got
know
you.
what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean like nowadays everything's online. Like me I tell people, and I think it's a lot of times it's the location where you're at. I'm not in the best city to where I'm at now to meet women. A lot of these other places, the metropolitan cities, like especially for Black people, Charlotte, Atlanta.
Hmm.
Um, you
Are
know,
you in the South?
I'm in the South. Yeah, I'm in Charleston.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
live in
Gosh.
Charleston.
I'm in
So,
the South. So
okay.
listen, let me make this mental note. Because you said whenever you meet a woman that you see or show some interest in, it's somewhat like an interview. So, ladies, that means you need to be smiling, looking your best whenever you walk out the door. If you're
Yep.
trying to meet a man, because you never know when you're going to have an interview. That's
Yep.
what you're saying. So the what you call those things that they put those bonnets
Yeah.
and pajama bottoms don't work because you might be the best girl. You will miss a good woman if she's looking like that, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, ladies, come on. He's just already said when he meets a woman and he thinks that she may be the one, it's an interview right away. So it's almost like a first date. So
Yes.
you got to be prepared for those interviews.
I think a
Yes.
woman when she wears a bonnet anyway, that means she doesn't want to be approached. In my opinion,
Wow.
that's how I feel. And I made a joke. I think this was like a couple years ago. I said if a woman
Mm.
could wear a bonnet out in public, I know she'll never give a damn about me.
Wow.
I said that just, you know,
Yeah, you got to
yeah,
pretty
You
much
know,
own that.
you know what?
shoot,
I'm glad you guys said those things, especially unsolicited boss. I'm glad you said make sure you're smiling,
Mhm.
because it's not just about the smile. Because when I wrote down on my videos, I wrote, I think it was probably 10 or 15 things in preparing yourself to be a wife. And one of the things was making sure we are open,
Right.
making sure we're showing we're open. And when you say smiling, that is the gateway of showing that I'm not cut off. I'm
Right.
not walking around with extra baggage on me. It could
Mhm.
be mentally or physically, like you saying, the bonnet on the head,
Right.
but showing this person that if you say hi to me or I'm in the grocery store, I'm not going to turn around and be like, why did you bump me? But I'm gonna turn around and be like, oh, I'm sorry. Can I help
Yeah.
you with anything?
So
It's
yeah,
a
in other words,
conversation right there.
you're saying it's okay. You're just saying it's okay. I'm okay.
Mhm.
You know, because I've seen some women in the store. It's not okay. You like, nah, it's not okay. So red lipstick vibes. Hello, how are you? Thank you for joining us this evening. But that was good, Jay. I don't think I ever heard anybody say the bonnets and the pajama bottoms. You didn't say that part, but I'm adding that. Is that I don't want to be bothered, but I can believe that.
yeah. That basically what it gives off to me. Even though some dudes don't care, they'll still shoot their shot with a woman
Yeah.
that's wearing a bonnet or whatever, and and it's. I just think I feel like if you wear that out, you don't want anybody to talk to you. That's how I feel. You know what I
That's
mean?
good. That's a good conclusion. I agree with that. Yeah, leave me alone. You're right. You're right. So listen though, when on that first, so you've already met the young lady, and I'm just going over what we've already talked about. You
Yeah.
met the young lady, you decided you had somewhat of a mini interview. Now you taking her out to dinner. What would be some red flags of something she may do or say, or even how she came to the date that you may say automatically, it might be a good date, but you may not take it any further? What would be some red flags about that?
Some red flags on a date to me is a woman basically telling you all her problems, on the
Mm.
first date. Money problems if she, needs bills paid. But at the same time, she's being honest, but still. Um,
Mm.
she needs her bills paid. She's late. She
Late
doesn't
on what?
Anything, everything,
she's
phone,
late.
You mean
right?
late to the date?
I
Okay.
can't stand a woman. I hate a woman that's late because my thing is so, and this is the thing that women, I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday. I understand women put in time to get ready for a date for who they want to. But you
Mm.
have guys who will, take time out of their schedule. They'll have things planned, they'll have things arranged, set up, and the woman will they go to just to verify, hey, are we still good for the night? Oh no, she'll flake or she'll come up with some BS excuse, and it's just like these are. And I Bianca, I don't know if y'all familiar with Bianca Gibson, but she's like, those are children, those aren't women, those are little girls. Women
Right.
actually do this.
Yeah, they
I've
do.
had, I've
Yeah.
had, and it's just like there's no respect
Yep.
for you have no respect for a human being. It's not just a man, but just the fact that you agreed to this and you would say that in the moment, and then when it comes down to it, you don't have any idea. It's just like I'll just go ahead and be dismissive. Um, I'll just go ahead and dismiss him. Oh, that's nothing. I don't really care. Or whatever. Blah blah blah. But you get upset when and I call it the Tyrone effect. Something I coined years ago. You chase Tyrone around wishing that he would do everything that this guy is trying to do for you, but he won't. But he's flaking on you, not returning your calls, standing you up on dates. You're
You
getting
get it
ready,
back. Yeah.
But this guy is that's why it's just a circle. It's just a constant cycle. But this guy is, trying to put his best foot forward, and that's when you shouldn't waste your time on a woman like that. If a
Mm.
woman, any woman that does that, you shouldn't even mess with her anymore.
That's
Um,
interesting that you would say that because they do that.
Constantly. I've had that happen so many times.
I've had it happen to me from another woman. I thought that was kind of crazy too, but it does
Would
happen.
she not show up? Are you saying not
Cancel
showing up?
the day before.
Oh, yes, yes,
Or,
yes. In
it might
business,
not been the
period.
day
Yeah.
before, could have been the same day, but period. Just
Yes.
why would you accept? I mean, do your research or whatever you need to do prior. I can handle whatever it is, but that's just, it does say a lot about that person, in my opinion.
Yes.
It says
Yes.
something. So
So I wanted to ask JR this. Before you even go on the date, I don't think I heard like what are some of the pickup lines? I don't want to call it that as if you have a book, but what are some of the approaches?
I definitely don't have pickup lines, and I don't believe in pickup lines. I'll just ask a woman if she available for. I don't drink coffee, but I still ask her anyway. I'll just ask her, are you available for brunch or coffee? That's my standard go-to, and I've been using that for years. I don't make anything crazy, whether it's in person or online, shooting my shot in a DM or inbox. And that's been like my most successful line. Hey, I compliment her. Some guys call it validation. You're validating her. I'll call a woman, I'll tell her if she's beautiful or not. And, my name is such and such. And, hey, I would like to talk to you later if I'm asking for her number, or I like to text you later, or if you're ever free, I would like to take you out for brunch, or if you're free for coffee or something like that. And that's it. I don't have any lines.
So you're pretty much like direct, like I'm interested in you. I would like to take you out on a date.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I think when you inbox a woman, that's kind of like it, because there's really nothing much else to talk about. I mean, we'll talk about everything in person. Like if I approach her, like if we're out in public, yeah, you're gonna have some small talk, so on and so forth. And then, but it's not gonna be minutes. It's gonna be like brief. Hey, here's the situation. This is how I feel. Blah blah blah. If you're interested, I would like to do this, and that's it. And because I don't think that it's. I don't have any. I've heard dudes say the corniest stuff all my life, and I've been like, how are these women like even catcalling and all this stuff like that? And I'm like, I be saying all this Shakespearean stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yo, why don't just be direct? Tell a woman what it is. Because women, and it's not because women complain about it, but I've saw so many women complain. Guys don't take women out on dates anymore and all kind of stuff like that. And I'm just
really?
I've seen that. I've heard women say that, and I've seen women say that online. So I'm just like, well, I'm that dude.
We're both like, really?
I don't have time to be.
They do that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
We're both.
What?
Yeah, we're both perplexed. Like when you said that, like these women are saying that the men don't take them out on dates anymore. Like now that's really going a little too far. Like you can't not do the dating part. No.
If you don't date, what are you gonna do? I mean, how do we even get to know each? That's. I mean, I wouldn't accept that.
I've been on dates, where women will say, and maybe they could be lying. Who knows? I've been on several dates where women say guys don't open the doors. That's new for me. I've been at bars before, and just bought women, not on some like trying to get with you, but I'm just like, yo, I buy you a drink or whatever like that. And they're like, guys don't do that anymore. Guys don't do stuff like that or whatever. And I'm just like, well, guys don't open the door. And I'm just like, I don't know I'll just tell a woman when she's walking up to the door, I'll be like, don't touch that door. I'll say it just like that. I'll be like, don't touch that door. She'll be like, I'm like,
you marry me?
I'm like, Red Lipstick Vibe says a lot of women don't require that, and I'm assuming anymore. And also, Mr. Rucker says that he'll take us to Applebee's and eat the 2 for $20.
Nah, because I don't even eat there, so I wouldn't.
I like Applebee's.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I haven't been to Applebee's, and they've shut down every Applebee's here in Charleston except for like one.
Oh, wow.
I can't even tell you the last time I've been to Applebee's.
So you're definitely a traditional man.
Mm-hmm.
I am, if that's what you want to call it.
Well, I'm just saying in your actions and the things that you are willing to do for a lady, it sounds like that you're looking for a lady that respects and can tell that you have somewhat of an honor for a lady by
Right.
opening the door, taking them out on dates and things like that. If today's women are not requiring it, then somewhere somebody did require it, and I would assume I did require it. So that was back in the day. So I'm saying that had to be a traditional thing. I'm thinking that to be true.
and dating a woman, yes, I'm a traditional guy, but
Mhm.
you know, behind closed doors, if I mean, I don't know what's considered traditional, but you're gonna have an experience behind
Okay.
closed doors. So if
So
that's traditional or not,
we're gonna get there, but before we get there, I want to ask you though, because there's been some things happening here in the recent years, different movements and things of that nature
right?
that probably has put a lot of stress on dating. Do you think that has anything to do with men not being so willing to date? I'm not gonna say men are not willing to date. Are men some more like you or more like the women saying they don't require it? What's more?
What do you mean? Because I think I got a story for you. What do you mean by that?
Are you saying that they're not they're afraid to approach? Because
Yeah.
that was one of the things that Mr. Haga, Corey Haga,
Are you talking about the Me Too stuff? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't like to call out
I'll
people's,
give you.
you know.
I'll get you. You didn't want to call that because of the algorithm. What?
Yeah, you know how people always, all these things that say it's a lot happening lately. I was
Yeah.
on this has nothing to do with what we're doing, but I was on a live the other night, and I'm telling you, they cut that live in the middle of it. They shut it down in the middle.
Oh, you talking about
Right.
Bolo?
Yes, in
Yeah.
the middle. I was like, so
Yeah.
that was shocking. And then, the little piece yesterday. So I'm just like, okay, y'all, let's just have some conversations without having conversations.
We got
So
you. We got you.
Yeah, because we want to still talk about what we want to talk about. So yes, Jr., go ahead and answer that question for
I
me.
think I kind of heard about what happened with. I didn't hear. I just saw a post something about live getting cut, but I guess we'll talk about that later. I had a situation, and I think I talked about this on one of my videos like years ago. This happened. This had to have happened in like 2016 or something like that. And I met this girl on online, and we went out, and she paid for the drinks and everything.
Hmm.
And that's when I was just learning this stuff about dating and all this stuff because I've been out of
Mhm.
the game for so long.
Mhm.
So I played it cool. I was trying to see her or whatever. She was just like, oh, da, da, da. So she was like standoffish. So I just left her alone. So one night I either I got a call or I got a text, and she was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "Nothing much." This was probably after like months of not hearing from her. She was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" or whatever. And I'm like, "Oh, nothing much, just whatever." She was like, "Do you mind if I come over?" She was like, "I'm really raw right now." And I was like, "What do you mean by that?" And I'm gonna try to keep this as PG as possible.
Yeah.
She's like, keep in mind, like I said, I haven't talked to this one. I was never intimate with her or anything. Um, she was
Hmm.
like, and has she been in my house? No, she had never been in my house. So she's like, I'm really raw right now, and I'm like, and she was like, yeah, because I think she was going to like she was in pre med or something. So her kids, like her husband was her ex husband, excuse me, was in like the Navy, and he relocated, and she had two kids, but because she was going to college, he was keeping them or whatever. So she kind of like passed them off to him so she could like do school or whatever. And this is really like my life's like a movie. That's why I say like a
Yep.
lot. If you go back on all my old stuff, you'll see like this dude he's probably lying, man. All the stuff he be saying. So
No.
Oh
yeah.
no, you're
So
real.
so
Mhm.
she so she's like yeah, I just got through I'll go ahead and say it. I don't think they're gonna I'll go ahead and say it. I don't think they're gonna. She said I just got through pleasing myself
Mm.
like 7 times today.
Mm.
And I don't know, like a woman's mind, as
And
I've
you
been
like
learning.
that
Like I'm a
content.
fan of the female mind, and what are certain triggers, and why women do certain things, and loss and depression and all this stuff that I've learned throughout the years that cause women to do certain things. So by her feeling some type of way about losing her kids, that caused her to please herself several times that day, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
But she was like, I'm really raw right now, and I need to be, whatever. I need to be near somebody, whatever. So I was like, yeah, come through. Yeah, come through. Say less, right? So she comes over, we're talking. I don't even think we even had any drinks. I think we probably had a beer. She probably had like a beer or whatever. And she was like, "Can I stay here tonight?" And I was like, "Yo, yeah, by all means." We were already in my bedroom at this time anyway. So I was like, "Yeah, sure." She hops up in the bed or whatever. So I'm like, "Okay, well, I already women, if you get in a man's bed, you should know what time it is.
Right. Exactly.
It's a no-brainer. Same thing with men. If a woman invites you into her bed,
Yep.
you know what time it is. You need
Yeah.
to, don't sit there, because I made that mistake as well, as far as trying to be the good guy. Anyway, she gets in my bed. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess she, whatever, She just told me all this stuff that she just did. So I guess,
Right. She wants you to service her.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the type of time I was on. Common sense,
Right.
anybody would be on that type of time.
Okay.
So I get in bed, and we're spooning, if you will, and I go for my move, and she moves her hand. She moves my hand, right? And then I'm like, okay. So I go, as we're talking or whatever, I go for my move again. She moves my hand. And I'm just like, and what I should have did, I should have just told her to get up out my house at that time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If knowing what I know now, I'd have been like, yo, you need to I don't think this is working. I don't know what's going on here. You need to get lost. So she spent the night or whatever. Everything was, whatever. So because I left it alone. She spent the night. The next morning, she was like, next time I see you, I'm gonna do da 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 da. So, and I'm sorry I'm stretching this out so long. So later on that day, I didn't hear anything from her, and I was like, "Yo, is everything okay? I'm just checking on you, making sure everything is okay." She sends me this long ass text message. I can't believe you're a creep. You're a creepy groper. She called me a creepy groper. You're a creepy groper. Blah 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 blah. I actually called my ex-husband and told him about you and what you did and all this stuff like that. And I can't believe I felt totally violated when I left your house. I don't know. I stood, and I'm just like,
Wow.
I'm like, huh? I'm like, bruh. I'm like, and all type of scenarios is playing through my mind. Like, this woman might try to me too me or some shit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, this is some crazy stuff. Just hearing her say this, I'm like, is she serious? And I'm reading the text message. I probably still got it on my phone somewhere. I'm reading the text message. I'm just like, you trying to play me like I'm a creep? And I'm just like, so I texted her back. I said, I didn't. You invited yourself to my house. You got in my bed, and nobody had any intention of doing anything. Creepy groper, some pervert stuff. So I talked to my man about it. He was like, yo, yeah, she was bugged. He was like, that had nothing to do with you or whatever. He's like, you just be running into some crazy women. And I was like, man, so I had anxiety because I was like, what if she tries to say like I assaulted her or some dumb stuff like that? He was like, yo, chill out, man. And I had looked her up and come to find out she had like a foundation for like women that were assaulted, because I guess when she was younger she was assaulted or whatever, right? And that's one of my things. I'm attracted to women without me knowing. I'm attracted to women who've been assaulted, and I guess based on statistics, one out of every 4 women have been assaulted. So, but for some reason, every woman I seem to shoot my shot at ends up telling me their story that they've been assaulted. And I'm just like, well, how do I mean, it's not their fault, but I'm like, how do I always end up attracted to women who've been assaulted? You know what I mean? So that in itself was just like, it bothered me for a few days. I'm just like, what if she actually tries this? So like, anyway, and I'm gonna finish this up right now. I think like a year or two later, she sends me a message on Facebook. Hey, what's up? How are you? Or something like that. And I was just like, man, I didn't even respond to that. You know what I'm
No.
saying? I'm just like, yeah, but that was my whatchamacallit moment right there. You know,
That's
and
scary.
very.
I'm not a man, and my heart would have dropped for you.
Hold on for a minute. Hello, TJ. How are you? And she makes a comment. Why would she share such personal sexual information before coming to your house? That's the part that scares me. It almost sounds like it was a setup and you actually acted appropriately, because if you would have done something different, I do think she would have went farther.
Yeah.
I definitely do.
I like the way she said it, I've never heard a woman say that
No.
to me. So I was just like, yo, you trying to come over? She was like, she trying to come over. So I'm just like, okay. We both know what time it is. You trying to come over after you just said some shit like that. So hey, and then you come with that. So I was totally befuddled.
But you
You know
know
what I'm
what,
saying?
though? After her saying that and saying also that she pleased herself, it would seem to me that she wouldn't even need you for that purpose. So
No, she needed him to
The
finish
ways
it off.
of the ways of the woman are
Right.
strange.
they're very strange, because she's
You know.
those words that she used were, that seemed like to me you would be done for at least a day or two. But again, you say the ways of women are strange. I don't know.
I mean, but
Yeah.
women. I think the women who tend to have gone through those experiences are. I don't know if the term is
Yep.
hypersexualized or whatever, but
But everyone
they
has a different sex drive. So
right.
whether, like I said, whether she needed him to finish her off, that's neither here nor there. My question really to JR is, at that time with this woman, you were not looking to be with her like long term, right? She was just how would you say,
This
a
was
jump
this was
off?
just a woman on what was it blackpeoplemeet.com or some shit like that, some stuff
Yeah.
like that, and
No, I was saying, so she was just someone you was just killing time with. That's what I mean. She wasn't like,
we weren't even communicating. Let's put it in perspective. I hadn't talked to this woman probably, I want to say it was like 6-7 months, maybe longer at
Mm.
this point. So we had no communication at this point. This was just out of the blue,
yeah,
right?
Mhm.
This was just out of the blue. And we as men, we need to have more, and I always advise myself first, we need to be more protective of ourselves in
Yes.
terms of people that
Yes.
show up out of the blue,
Yep.
instead of just giving in to like, okay, this is just some easy ass at this
Mhm.
point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Yeah.
it comes with some bull like that. So yeah, I definitely learned my lesson from that. And it's never anything in terms of pressure. Hey, if that's what it is, hey, yo, you gotta go. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I'm not trying to do anything like that. Like, yo, it's hands off. Not hands. When I say hands off, I don't mean literally. Yo, it's hey, we don't. There's nothing else to discuss here. You know what I'm saying at
Right.
this point.
You know
So
what? There was another young man, Jedi, in the chat. He says the same thing happened to him
Oh, wow.
in his dorm. He said the same thing happened to him in his dorm room. So you guys, when you come in, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. And also you're subscribing to JR Wisdom and call that over the top. So listen, we're glad to have you out here. And let's see, what were we just talking about? So have you had any other experiences, or have other men told you about the approaching women being difficult? Or is it, because I used to like back in the day when men used to say, God, you look good, you smell good. I like the way that
yeah,
dress fit. I mean, I appreciated that. I didn't feel like it was perverted.
I
It
think.
didn't. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
I think there's a way that you can say something to women that where
Right.
I think a woman a woman is supposed to be admired. A woman is supposed to become, in my opinion, and you got these people who call it simping and all this foolishness. But a woman is because she puts in this whatever effort that she puts in to get herself together, to put herself to show herself out into the world, and she just doesn't want it from men. Well, from women, she wants it from men also.
Absolutely.
That validation. So it's just one of those things where she's just supposed to shine. So there's nothing wrong. And I think any woman, which I don't think I've ever had that issue. I think those places where you have those issues is when you're in probably maybe in a club or something like that, where you would say something like that to a woman. But I've never had an issue with saying complimenting a woman. I've stopped women and just say, "Hey, I just wanted to, let you know that you look beautiful today. That dress, you're
Yeah.
wearing that dress today. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I just wanted to
Yeah.
let you know." And it just brightens up a woman's day, and it's nothing. And if it's to that point where you just like you have to snap at somebody for saying that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? I've never had a lot of guys, and I've done videos on this. They're so afraid to approach women because of, I've had guys say I might get arrested. I'm like, how are you gonna get arrested for approaching a woman? Like, or I might get charged with assault. How are you gonna get charged with assault for approaching, like, all kind of crazy stuff? I've actually seen guys, anything to talk yourself out of talking to a woman. Like, it's just crazy. And you never know, that one woman you may be scared to talk to maybe want to give you time of day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a real problem. I thought men love talking to women.
No, that's a problem. Even with me, I get anxiety sometimes, and I'll be the first to admit it. I'm not like, I won't, like, sometimes there's been several women that walk past me that I should have talked to, and I feel horrible. And that's why I encourage guys, hey, shoot your shot, man.
Yeah.
At least it feels better getting rejected than to not have done it at all. Like, that's
Yeah.
one of the worst
Yeah.
feelings, to know, like, hey, I could have at least, talked to this woman, and even if she did reject me, you know what I mean? But like I said, some guys, based off what you were saying, a smile they call it
Mhm.
choosing signals.
Yes.
A smile goes along, which it does. An invite is invitation is,
Mhm.
I'm disarmed, you can come approach me, so on and so forth. But some guys won't even approach it that, and I've heard beautiful women say this that I've talked to, that are like, I don't get approached. And I find
Mhm.
it hard to believe, but that's what they say. I don't get approached. Like, how don't you get approached? Are you serious? You know what I'm saying? So,
you,
grocery store is a perfect place for me, or
you
Walmart.
know
You know,
what you said to that, JR, when you were like, some beautiful women said they don't get approached.
right?
It's funny you said that, is because I was listening to another YouTuber, Lauren, and she says that she does shoot her shot sometimes, right? But
Very attractive. That's very attractive. I love that. But go ahead.
yeah, so but
Yeah,
she says that sometimes it's missed because um she doesn't know if she's coming into the friend zone, you know? And with you saying that, the some of the pretty women feel that they don't get approached, maybe I feel that sometimes the men are feeling like, okay, if I shoot my shot, is she going to put me in the friend zone, or it's kind of missed, like, okay, maybe I if she if that guy even says hello or starts a small conversation, they're both kind of on the defense, like, okay, is he interested in me or is he not? Is she interested in me or is he not? And my approach to it was, and I'm glad you said at the beginning, you're like, so you're direct. If you like someone, you tell them
Mhm.
you like them, you compliment them, and then from there you ask them out for a date. And that was my approach. I'm not even a man, but I'm more like, if I like you, I see you, you look good, I'd like to take you out for a coffee, like you said, but be direct in a way of, you're not here to play games. Um, but I think they kind of leave the door open. It's kind of like they're both tap dancing and not
Mhm.
being direct and closing the deal.
I think, um, and I'm a strong believer. Only you can put yourself in the friend zone. They can't put you. Nobody can put you in a friend zone.
Hmm.
I mean, they can try, and if you want to, stay on that type of time, then you can do that. In the case of mine, like I got I call her the lesbro, right? My life has changed a while over time. I have, I've done an interview with her too. Her name is Grace. She's from out of Miami. She's a lesbian, but she put me up on something about the friend zone isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Nope.
And this was this year, and how she explained it to me was the way, and I just did a video where I was talking about this. Not so much of what she said, but guys, you should be cordial with women regardless. You should always be cordial, whether she shoots you down, whether you went out on a date and it didn't go well and she ghosts you or whatever, and she tries to talk to you again or reaches out. You should always be cordial with women. So being in the friend zone doesn't necessarily mean you're going to give her your attention, your non-sexual attention, if you will. If she reaches out to you, and I know I'm talking to the guys right now. If she reaches out to you, then you're going to set something up that basically is going to be your idea, and it's not going to be her idea. You're not going to be paying for her dinners and lunches while Tyrone's doing his thing. Um, you are going to It's going to be within your parameters and how you see fit, and that's going to be that. And if she's still in that type of time where we're just friends, then hey, I love to talk to you, but this is the type of time I'm on. We can hang out, and have fun, so on and so forth. And you never know, because a woman is reaching out to you for a reason.
Mm.
And if she enjoys your company that much, and this is what Grace was telling me, because women have drinks with other women. You know what I'm saying? Not to say anything's going to lead to that, but the way she explained it to me, which made perfect sense, was that you just don't give her that attention. At the friend zone, when we talk about the friend zone, we talk about we're still trying to get this person to be our girlfriend. Women don't have to worry about that so much with the friend zone stuff. A guy is going to give you his sexual attention. Bottom line, he may treat you like a girlfriend or a one night stand. That's up to you whether you want to stay in that holding pattern or that situation. A man has no problem laying you down at the end of the day. He has no problem maybe taking you out, if that. But if you choose to stay, that's on you. That's why I said the friend zone is a choice. So in terms of a man, once again, you're always cordial with a woman. You're always, and when you take her out, you treat her like she's your girlfriend, even if you're in the friend zone. But like I said, if she reaches out to you, it's going to be, you know, you're within your parameters of what's going on for that night. It's not going to be her deciding. It's going to be, hey, okay, we're going to do this. This is going to be what I want to do, and this is how the night's going to go. Other than that, I don't have any non-sexual attention to offer to you. I don't have a shoulder to cry on, all those things. Because even women who hang with gay guys, and people say I talk vulgar, but a gay dude's dick still gets hard at the end of the day. So you hang with this guy, you drinking, you could have some drinks, and this dude may end up, sleeping with you also. So we're not about to do all that. I'm not about to do X, Y, and Z and you go back to Tyrone and give him, everything. And I just showed you a good time. So that's how I feel about the friend zone. We put ourselves in the friend zone. We choose to stay in the friend zone.
So listen, we're going to drop that link in the chat. So any one of you that want to call up or just join the chat, ask any questions, definitely do so. You know what? We camming up. So all you beautiful ladies and gentlemen, make sure you understand that we have to cam up. And we're going to have the conversations. Now, let me ask, because we're going to move on to marriage, because Mr. JR is been divorced 5 years. He's dating. And I want to know, would you ever entertain being married again?
You want me to answer that now, or you can tell me later?
No. We're gonna move right into it.
Okay.
But before we do that, we're gonna make sure that Miss Colette has asked all her questions about dating, because I know how you are. I want you to give us a rundown on it. What can we tell the ladies about this modern time dating and what they need to do in order to get a fine gentleman like Mr. J.R. Wisdom to, Oh, I forget. I had one more question. I had one more. JR, how many dates do we have to go on before
Good
that
one.
intimate night needs to happen?
Good one.
Man, so I got to keep it honest.
Yes,
Yes.
please do.
This was with a woman. I'm 30. I'll be 39 in a couple weeks. Which y'all
Right.
probably already know.
Yep.
So this is with a woman. She was like 43 years old. And I was maybe simping. I think I was simping at this point. But this woman, I could have laid her down on, like, I think this was the second date, but I just had too much to drink. And I felt sick, so it didn't happen. I could have, but it didn't. So to answer your question, I can't speak for all men, but I think within those first 2, maybe 3 dates, if there's no intimacy there, and we've discussed, because the first date, this is what I know about women. You have to breach, I don't want to say breach, you have to cross that barrier of sexual innuendo, at least on the first date. So a woman, because women tend to think sometimes that, hey, I don't know if this guy maybe really like me or not. It can be subtle, but you have to at least cross that line, like, to let her know that, that you're interested in you're on that type of time. So me personally, I would say, second or third date. I mean, and it's a lot of factors involved with this. Time as well, because what's the time frame between these dates?
Right.
You understand? So that's another factor. So if we're consistently going on dates every week or every couple weeks, then I would say third date. I would say third date or so, because why are you going on dates with me after this? Like, why are we doing, what are we doing here? Are you not attracted to me? If you're going on more than one date with me, then I'm assuming that you're attracted to me or whatever. I'm attracted to you, obviously, because any man who's going on a date with you, he wants to sleep with you. This isn't anything that, hey, I want to know if he's attracted to me or not. If he's going on a date with you, he wants to sleep with you.
Right.
So
We have a comment from Miss Brittany B. Let me see, can I get it back up here? Miss Brittany B says, if you carry yourself like a wife, he will treat you as such. A man with a plan for you will value you. Miss Brittany B, I want you to explain the value a little bit longer, because he said 3 dates. But I want to add something to that, because I'm just going back to my day of dating, because I dated a lot. We dated in my day.
Yeah.
And I remember
you courted.
we courted. Okay, we courted. But I remember my husband and I in the beginning, when we realized that we liked each other, we talked all the time. So, one day or one date was almost like 24 hours. Does that make sense? Do they still do that stuff nowadays? I don't know if people do that or not. But, it's like,
I do multiple dates. It's not 24 hours, but I do multiple dates in one date. But go ahead.
Well, it feels like 24. It wouldn't be 24 hours, but you were just learning so much about each other. It was almost like, let's continue to talk, or let's continue to do whatever. And it wasn't like having to be about formally going out on a date. It was just, you always wanted to, you go to work, you come home, you want to talk to that person. So then you all may fall asleep talking, or then the next weekend might be the same thing. So it was more to it than just going on the dates. It was just always that person if you were that interested. So it was almost just like constantly getting to know them. So about time it came time to have the relations, it almost seemed like y'all was together 6 months. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Do people still do that or no? Is that crazy to do that? All right. Was that just something we did years back?
I think it occurs. I think that does happen. I mean, if you have that level of respect, I'm not saying that you respect the woman, because that's the biggest thing. Like we're like, and there's been an argument, and I've done several polls on my community tab about this, about the dates and the body count and all that stuff like that. I don't respect the woman any less. That's just me. I don't respect the woman any less, whether it's the first date, because I feel like I'm that guy at the end of the day. That's
Yeah,
just
you
me.
do. Yeah.
I feel like I'm that dude. So if she sleeps with me on the first date, if I'm feeling her on that, like this isn't like how we like when you hear women, are you gonna call me? You're not gonna call me.
Right.
Nowadays, women can't stop dudes from calling. They wish dudes would stop calling them. As
Oh yeah,
opposed to
we
back
know.
in the day. That's how it is now. Women are like, these dudes call too much. They're blowing my phone up. He's too which I've been accused of that. He's too needy.
Too needy. See, that's crazy. I would want
Mhm.
a man to be needy. That
No.
would let me know it's okay, but not needy as in
Not at the beginning. Like, no, you can't be
not
too.
needy. No,
No,
no, not needy as in weak, but
no, no, not
listen,
me.
I don't want the macho ego guy that's tripping. I want a real simple man that is to his point. I don't want the guy with the game. So if it comes off, if he's letting me know that I want you, and he kicking down the door to that, I'm going to respond to that. I don't want the game player. I
Right.
don't want that. It's all about me. I don't, I'm different. It's been a long time now. I'm understanding people are doing things different. So, Miss Randolph, how are you?
Shout out to Miss Randolph.
Oh, she can't hear us.
Yeah,
You
she
Got
hear?
on the Burberry. Go ahead, baby.
Okay, there you go.
How y'all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm excited. Listen, y'all got me laughing over here for real, for real. Okay, Mr. JR, I'm gonna tell you, shout out to my fellow veteran, because I know you're a fellow, you're Army veteran, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Cool. You had me cracking up because I was listening to some of the stories, and it reminds me of some of the stories my husband was telling me before we date. I'm like, dang, really? Because I'm a newlywed. We've been married for about a little over 2 years, and been together for 3. So we're still considered newlyweds. And
Right.
I got married at 52. So it's but to your point, unsolicited security boss, we did that when we started dating. We talked and we met online.
Nice.
Plenty of fish.
Already. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
I shot my shot, and because he wasn't going to reach out to me, and I tell you, I had an interview with Suzette Speaks, and it's interesting because he saw me, and he thought I was cute, but he didn't reach out to me, and so the way I saw he had looked at me, you can see who looks at your profile, so I saw that he looked at my profile, so I went to look at his, and I reached out to him and said, "Hey there." So we started talking, and when I finally asked him, I said, "Well, why didn't you reach out to me?" And he says, "Well," and this is kind of where we get messed up, ladies. And I said this because I said all the things I did. I was an officer in the military. I was a single mom. I did this. I did this. I did this. I'm this. And so when I asked him, he said that he didn't think that I would be interested in a blue collar truck driver like him.
Aww.
So that's where we kind of get messed up, because I was leading with the things that I thought would be impressive.
Oh,
And
that was on your bio?
That was on my profile. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because I have pictures of me, in my military uniform, large and in charge and doing all this stuff. And I'm thinking that was a marketing tool, and I almost missed the love of my life.
Right.
All right, ladies. I hope y'all are listening to this. In the dating game, we just gave another key. Don't lead with your bio or change your bio. Don't be looking. Find a place where the man can fit in. Don't be so together. Can we say that?
So
Don't
what
be
would
so
you?
together?
What,
You just said it.
You know
so
what?
TJ, if you had to, if you had to do it over again, what would you put on there?
Yeah,
Because you don't want to diminish some of your accomplishments,
Right.
but what would you put on there?
I will put what, and one of the things I did put on there is that I said, I don't know what I'm looking for, but I said, I know what I'm not looking for. And one of the things that was compelling is that I said that I did put, this is the part that I would keep on there.
Mhm.
I put on there that my life being a single mother has forced me to be a certain type of woman, but I long to be this kind of woman, that I can show the man every aspect of who I am, the vulnerable side, the silly side, the little girl side. I mean, and so because I do exactly that with him.
Mhm.
He's seen every facet of me being shy, being like a little silly little girl, and I would lead with the kind of music I like, because I did talk about the music I like, and I talked about um going on picnics, going, for walks. I would keep that kind of stuff in there because
Right.
we do that. Now we don't do it all the time, but I would lead with I'm loving, I'm caring,
Mm.
I'm supportive,
Mhm.
whatever you need, I got you, that kind of thing, because that's who I am. That's who I always longed to be for him, whoever that him was going to be. And I'm that, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I was telling Suzette Speaks to this, now he retired me because I retired effectively October 2021 this year. To this, up until the time I retired, he has no idea how much money I made.
Mhm.
Did All he knew was I was in human resources and worked for the federal government. Anybody who knew what my grade was could look it up. He never knew, never asked, never cared.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Very
yeah.
good. Very good. So if you had to put it in a box and advise the ladies that are behind us that are looking to be married, what would you say? What would you
Mhm.
say to them?
Be his best friend.
Mm.
Be his best friend. Be his comfort. Be his refuge.
Mm. What you
That's
say
it.
about that, JR? Would that get you? If you want plenty of fish and somebody had that in their barrel, would you click that? Would you swipe to the right, or what would you do?
I would swipe, but you told me, but you got to show me.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
Yes,
But that seems like you made that first date, though.
I did.
She reached out. She
She
reached out.
she reached
So
out because she said he didn't. That's right.
yeah,
I
so
did.
she showed her, she put her cards on the table, and it should add up to what her bio is saying. So now it's his turn. Like, show me what you got now, you know?
I agree. I mean, if he was, because obviously he said that he was interested, he was just hesitant or reserved because he felt that she was at a certain level and he wasn't at a certain level. So I mean, it all worked out though. I mean, but sometimes women, I mean, I understand women have a traditional mindset that they're like, well, I'm not going to do that. That's being too thirsty, or that's being like, hey, I may be perceived as someone who doesn't have many options, so on and so forth, by reaching out to a guy. But I think, to me personally, I think that's very attractive, for a woman to reach out. And I mean, it's happened to me a handful of times in my life, I'm not saying that it's cool. I'm not saying it always, went for it, because I can understand how some women for the most part are constantly approached.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the value of a man is not really where, I'm not saying where it should be, but the value of a man is, they don't see men, the value of a man as how a man should be if he was just a normal guy. If you constantly have dudes constantly hitting on you, constantly trying to shoot their shot, constantly trying to get at you, you're like, man, opulence is just one of those things where you look at it like, I mean, whatever. This is,
You
I can
didn't.
get this any day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing special about this. And guys kind of look
Mm.
at that as well with women. If the guys like celebrities who can have access to whatever woman they whatever woman they want, they look at women like, well, I know it's gonna be, a few dozen of you tomorrow night. It's not a big deal. So I can understand how women feel that way, and why they may be hesitant to shoot a shot at guys, because it makes them look thirsty. So.
And and the things have changed so much. I will say, especially because I think I put in the chat before, choosing signals. Nowadays, because things are, online. I mean, you have a chance to meet people sometimes in person, but a lot of times you don't.
Yeah.
And so because he couldn't see me give choosing signals with, because I used to flirt with my eyes and, just, be coy, all that. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
I knew how to do it. I'm telling you that. I'm like, hey, I'm like, smile. But see, so my choosing signal was, hi there. And when he responded to your points, security boss, our first conversation lasted into the wee hours of the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We did a little banter on the site, and then we agreed really quickly we were going to exchange phone numbers. And we talked into the wee hours of the morning, and then the next day we talked again. So it was kind of like that, like what I was used to. But even though it started on a platform, but I was able to, or we were able to segue into something that we were familiar with. So by the time we had our first date 3 days later, we had been talking on the phone almost like 10 hours a day.
Yes.
So it's like,
yeah.
Yes, it was.
I agree.
And then when we did go on the first date, it was just a dinner. It was a burger joint and a movie.
Nice.
A burger joint and a movie. And we had the best time. And when we got ready to go to our separate ways, he hugged me so tight. I mean, it was almost uncomfortable, and not because it felt weird, but it was so tight I couldn't breathe. So I asked him, why did you hug me so tight? He said, I want to let you know that I want to see you again.
Right.
He was direct.
That was definitely sweet. Definitely. God, that was sweet. So listen, thank you guys for coming in.
Yes.
Gail, thank you for what you're doing. Miss TJ, before you go,
Yes,
I want
ma'am.
to ask you a question, because you have only been married 2.5 years, almost 3. So you were part of the dating game for a while. Do you have
18 years?
Do you have any well, I don't want to call them horror stories, but we're trying to advise on some good tools. So, you're coming from the woman's point of view. We were talking to JR from the man's point of view. So we've talked about how women sometimes are not very nice. They don't smile and things of that nature. Do you have something that you would advise the ladies, other than your bio with the online, but in person, that you would say would make us more pleasant for these men to approach?
Well, definitely smile. I will say this, and even before I was dating, I think it goes to how I grew up. I'm 54. I've never met a stranger, male or female.
Mm-hmm.
I'll smile at anybody. Hey, how you doing? When the trash man comes, hey, you want something to drink? So I've always been that way. And again, you can get so much with a smile, and it doesn't mean anybody wants anything from you. But when it comes to dating, particularly not just online, I do have a horror story. Before I met my husband, I was in a 6-month relationship that almost ended my life. Literally.
And
Yes.
you met him in person, or was this online?
I met him online on Black People Meet.
Shout out to Black People Meet.
So to your point, JR, there were red flags that I chose to ignore.
That were online, or before you met, after you met?
When we actually met in person.
Okay, so nothing online that you could give some of the viewers like what to look for?
No. Because one thing is and so that's kind of what JR is saying, what you put on paper or your profile is one thing, but what are you going to show when you actually meet far as the consistency? Because lo and behold, and it would later be revealed, the pictures that he posted online were at other people's homes that he perpetrated were his. Because when he left me, he did the same thing, posted pictures from my house as if it was his.
Oh, wow.
So
So
would you say that maybe sometimes before, I don't know, but before a woman, especially a woman or men, go out on these dates, possibly maybe do a background check? Or is
yes.
that like
Oh, I'm sorry.
not,
I'm sorry.
huh?
No, seriously, you make a good point, and this is a shameless plug for it's called Been Verified.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out about this site actually on YouTube by accident. And
Mm-hmm.
ladies and gentlemen, we can't be so hungry for relationships that we forget to take care of ourselves. Because had I done a background check,
Mm.
I would have found out that this individual had been arrested more than once for drug possession,
Oh.
more than once for assault on a woman.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that would have definitely helped at least minimize some of the risk. We're not saying a background check is going to just tell all, but I
It should
think that's a
tell enough
great point.
though. It's the assault on a female would have been enough. I'm almost
Yeah.
sure of that. So
Yes.
we have a comment here. Tasha Sherry says, I had a hell date from Black People Meet also a year ago.
Mm.
That's interesting. Very much so.
Well, here's the thing, we can meet psychos anywhere. And the reason why I say even in a grocery store, because the reason that I went to Black People Meet at all is a friend and coworker had a good result, met her husband, and they're still married. So I figured, well, gosh, she had a great result. Let me try it. Well, and it didn't work, but so happened I met my husband on Plenty of Fish, and we both didn't even know that Plenty of Fish was known as a hookup site. We didn't know that. So it worked for us, but it may not work for someone else. But I think more importantly is where you're a male or female, people can write up anything, but definitely do the background check. When you start interacting with that person, don't dismiss the red flags. I shared with Suzette, early because I was 50 at the time, and in my mind, I'm 50, I'm on my own. I've been divorced since 2002, thinking I ain't got no prospects. I'll be desperate. I just keep it one thou wow. So, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I know what kind of person I am. This guy's just not going to let me run over him because, again, I know I had a very strong personality, but no, it was more than that. My husband doesn't let me run over him, but he doesn't curse me out. He doesn't call me out of my name. He doesn't demean me. But that's how I used to justify and look past the things that were in my face.
Right.
Same thing for men. If you see a woman's being manipulative, everybody has idiosyncrasies. Idiosyncrasies are one thing. Character flaws are something else.
Right. Right. And I have a question for both Jay. I'm sorry. Sorry, unsolicited. But since they're both in this era of the dating on the, dating online, right? I want to ask both of them, what would be, hi, Jada Mike.
That Mike.
Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, Jetta.
But what are some of the, I will say, if you give 2 or 3 questions that both parties should ask each other on these dating apps before you get to the part of, okay, let's meet up. What are some key questions that you should ask those people so you could be like, okay, they passed the first checkpoint?
You can go first, TJ.
She's
Well, I wish I could say there's a cookie cutter answer because there isn't. Because the general thing is like, hey, so, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? You've been married. What do you do? Not necessarily how much money you make, but what do you do? All the same questions I asked a boy. He lied.
So I have a question though. You know how you and your husband really put that personal time in by talking for 24 hours and what have you like that? Was the other young man, was he willing to do that?
He was, but it's so funny. And that's why, listen, hear me, youngins and old heads. When your peoples, your family, your friends are saying something, please listen. Hey, Mr. O, because my dad, who's an original OG in Los Angeles, I thought it was cute because I had gone to visit my dad in California. We had just started dating. I had gone to visit my dad in California for Thanksgiving, but the guy kept calling all the time.
Uh-oh.
I thought it was cute. Like, oh, he's really interested in me. No,
That's what Miss Unsolicited wants. She says she wants them to be clingy. That's what she said.
Yeah.
No, he was trying to control me. He was trying to.
No, not like that. Just
He was because he knew I was visiting my dad. He knew he was visiting my dad. He knew I was there with so he called all the time. And so my dad, a man can peep game on another man, just like a woman can peep game on another woman. My dad peeped game that something wasn't right, but I wasn't trying to hear it because I was impressed. Oh, he's really interested in me. But when I got home, he continued to do the same thing. Where you at? When you coming home?
No.
And so you have to pay attention. And when your people are saying some stuff, because sometimes people can see stuff that you can't because you're so enamored. You're so excited.
You're so naive.
You're so stupid.
Yeah.
I was 50. Okay.
So JR,
you were just out of the game. That's all.
I was thirsty. Let's keep it 1,000. I was desperate.
So I think JR is next, and Jedi Mike and Mr. O. I wanted them to kind of answer that question of, the questions to ask on these dating apps before you take it to the next level.
Let me say hello to Mr. O. How are you,
sir?
How
are you, security boss? I've never met you, but I've seen you.
I know. Thank you for being here.
I'm sorry to Colette. I've been meaning to get back to you. I missed those emails, but I definitely have now. And I don't want you to feel slighted at all. I definitely am looking to hear back from you. So check your email.
Yes.
TJ, you know how I feel about you. Military veteran, looking good in Burberry. And just focus on me, not the comment section. I got you. TJ. Don't let them people in the comment section get you out of pocket.
Yes, sir.
And Mike, man, I'm a fan of you.
What's up, man?
You're a guy. I love your perspective, man. I really love your young. Like, it's not a lot of guys young your age, man, that have the wisdom that you do. And I guess that's an testament to the way you was raised, man. And I appreciate it. It took me like past 30 to even think like you. So
appreciate it.
JR, like, I don't know you, but I watch you like every day, man. You commenting on everything, man. So like, definitely am a fan, man. And I hope you check out my channel as well. I got my partner, my co-host with me, Big Hef. We're going to run through the streets a little bit in YouTube and kind of give our players perspective on things, man. And I definitely want to comment on what JR said after I answered the question on that story that he told, because it definitely like triggered some, not triggered, I don't like to say that, but it definitely like led me to think about some things in my past that kind of like correlates and made a lot of sense. If we can add some different value to it, we will. Hef, talk to him.
Hey, I just want to say hello. Hey,
hello,
y'all
sir.
Having a great show. Love what y'all got going on.
Thank you.
All right. Ask the question again.
The question was, first of all, have you just to make sure you can answer it, have you guys been using dating apps to get dates?
So I came up, I graduated in '99. This was like right as the internet kicked off. And like when the smartphone came about, I was there. And then, I was the guy, like when we were younger, I used to carry the pen, right? So you carry the pen with you, make sure you got the numbers, whoever had the most numbers, like this little thing we did, right? So like the app thing took it to another level. But why I brought up the pen thing, because you got to be in the mindset of like, this is just the game, the hustle. And you getting on these apps, you're not going on there to find a wife. You're going on there to have sex. No different than you going on Instagram. No different than you're going on any other. Men are going on here to get the attention of women to have sex. Now, I will tell you this. There are lots of anomalies. My best friend in the world, who I've been knowing since my Air Force days, we've went through everything together. We went through all of our stages of growing through life together, if you know what that means. He saw me make mistakes early in marriage. And I'm happy to say today, he has the picture perfect image of what a parent of a marriage should be. And he found her on Plenty of Fish. of
Oh.
all places.
Wow.
Why I don't like to tell that, because I don't want to encourage guys to do that. That is an anomaly. Does not happen. It does not happen. I knew
So,
That's
my
where I
Mr.
found my husband, on Plenty of Fish.
wow.
So,
really?
Mr. O, that's
Wow.
why we're trying to have these conversations, or at least I'm trying to figure out so we could give a little bit of a blueprint before they even take it to a date. Like, what are some questions that both parties should be asking each other? And I think JR was next in answering.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, I'm with what Mr. O was talking about. And it's just about hooking up on these sites. So whether that be POF, whether that be Black People Meet, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, I'm shooting my shot. And once again, I'm going back to what I was saying earlier. That's what I'm asking. That question, those two questions, if that, and straight to the point. If there is to be a question that I would ask, which I have asked in the past, and this is more so of a woman who I'm more serious with, or who I have maybe been out on a date with. And I know this is past what you're asking. I would just ask, is she emotionally available? I would just ask her. I would ask a woman straight. And I know some people don't ask that, but I would ask her straight up, "Are you
That's a good
emotionally
one.
available?"
Yeah.
And I've
That's a
done
good
that.
one.
I
Very
think
good.
one of my baby mamas, I asked her that, and she was just like, "Yeah, so yeah."
Okay. Okay. Jedi, I think you're next.
Yeah. I guess like for being the youngest one, I guess you have more access to technology to connect with people, such as the dating apps at the time. But even then, regardless of that, I'm still old fashioned. I did have my time with that my freshman year in college. I'm about to graduate in this coming spring, but my freshman year, everybody did, went to try to do Tinder, Bumble, and all that stuff. I was on that for about a month, and I just, threw it out because basically what it was, and especially freshman year, is basically hookup culture, right? And I kind of saw it for what it was, my youth. Cause like I'm even as a Christian kid, you think, oh, how about ChristianMingle.com with college students and stuff, right? Because they have, campus ministries and stuff like that. And then, which you see that get in there and try to find a relationship. But it's the same, it's the same gameplay, just different battlefield, so so the thing about that is regardless of, the aesthetic might change, but like still the same spirit is still moving, right? And I identified that at a younger time in my life now, realizing it before preventing certain situations from happening what they did. Because you're right, with even my own friends, when they went to the whole Tinder thing, because Bumble, the women will respond to them first, right? So it'll be a different dynamic with that. And some of my female friends, they'll kind of like who have whole laundry list of options, right? But the guys, they're constantly waiting for just at least just one, and you kind of see you have, I have one of my friends a girl, one of my friends a guy, and both on the different aspects of the same dating app, but getting two different experiences and knowing the truth behind what they're messaging, so all that whole code opens and pickup lines and all that stuff really is just a bunch of foolishness. But yeah, the question for me, what I did do that was I did ask is like some deeper questions, just like, hey, let's meet up here, instead of saying, oh, how you doing, all that stuff. So that way I do the face-to-face interaction. But then the questions I asked is like not really emotionally available. Also ask her like, hey, what's your why? Why you do the things you do, what's your purpose and everything like that. And to that question, it takes a moment for them to
She's gonna
respond.
get
They weren't
somebody.
expecting it. Wait, is someone giving feedback or something?
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's a good question to ask, Jedi Mike. I love JR question as well. Yeah, I think that's really good. Oh,
So
go
Okay,
ahead.
so is it my turn? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, I think for perspective, like, because I know that like most guys' intentions are to have sex, but a lot of women are looking for some type of companionship. I think it's important to clarify what your intentions are when you are on these sites before you start to ask these questions, because I think that men need to use their discernment in asking these questions to really figure out what these women's true intentions are too, because this is also open up another lane for women to come in who are of a different lifestyle in order to get some different type of gains on these websites. It isn't all about genuine relationships. A lot of it is about some setups, some manipulation, and strictly for financial gain. So you have to be clear about your intentions, and men have to really like have this discernment and utilize it in order to like choose wisely how you move and be
So
careful.
Mr. O, TJ, 1 second. Mr. O, have you done this type of dating or no?
I've used probably all of them except eHarmony and Match.
So would
I
there be
probably tried them all like for a month or two just to see what it was like.
would there
And
be something in the lady's bio that would keep you from clicking them or choosing them? Could there be red flags in the bio that would
no,
say this
Their
is not?
Cash App,
I
Venmo.
think men are the least likely to read any of that. We're strictly aesthetics. It's really
Wow.
off the look. If she got the look that I'm looking for, because like that's what our intentions are anyway to getting on there. Otherwise,
Okay.
like most guys are gonna go outside. The guys who spend the most time on these sites are introverts. And that has a lot to do with the guy's character. You got to wonder why he's available to respond to your messages so fast on this app. What is he not doing?
Okay.
Now,
So Miss
Hef has some insight that I want him to lay on.
Miss TJ, go ahead while Health takes the spot.
Well, I was going to say, I think, discernment is very important for men and women, but I will just tell you that, in as much as it's important for people to make their intentions known, let's be clear. People lie about their intentions because many women like myself, I knew that I was looking for I wanted a husband. There are men on the site saying that they are looking for wives and they're not. Okay. There are women on there who say they're looking for husbands, but they're not looking for husbands.
Wow.
They're looking for the come up. So people can put in, it goes back to what JR says. What you put in your profile is one thing, but what do your actions show? And it's interesting because my husband said to me, sharing some of his stories that, a woman would say straight up, look, want to just throw in the pee out the gate. He said, can we go out for a meal first or something? But that's what they wanted. But he said, I'm not, but he said that he wasn't looking for that. He was looking for something more. And it's funny because my husband is an introvert. He's a truck driver. He don't have a lot of time. He's not out in clubs. He's not out. He's on the road. And so, he found the site by watching Judge Mathis, actually, but because he thought it was a joke. But he made his intentions clear, and I made my intentions clear. But people lie. It just so happened, like what Mr. O said, it was an anomaly that we both met on a site, Plenty of Fish, that's notorious for hooking up, and we both wanted the same thing.
Wow.
Of course.
Wow, that's great. So listen, guys, the link is in the chat. Anyone that wants to actually come up and give their opinion, go ahead and click that link. You got to cam up. We're not doing none of that craziness. You got to cam up. So Miss TJ, I want you to go ahead and shout out your channel. We didn't do that when you initially came, but go ahead and do that. And you all please subscribe to her channel. She's been an outstanding guest for us tonight, but go ahead and do that for us.
Thank you so much. And I'm Mosaic with TJ Randolph. And the reason for the name of Mosaic is because mosaic is a form of art made out of many broken pieces. And that is how I view my life, out of broken pieces, but it came together to make something beautiful. I talk about the things that I've done in my 54 years in dating, being single for over almost 20 years, the mistakes I made in parenting, raising my daughter as primarily a single parent, the things I did interacting with her father that was wrong. And me and my daughter do a show on Saturdays where, she grows me real and she keeps me accountable. Yeah. What I thought I was showing her as a woman was versus what I actually showed her. So I just try to be as transparent as possible to help people. I talk about my mental health challenges that brought me to YouTube because I considered taking my life earlier this year, but God kept me from it so I can help others. So that's why I'm here. Mosaic with TJ Randolph. I thank you for having me on. JR, you boy. You a boy, you be growing people real too. I'll be seeing you. But anyway, Mr. Wisdom. JR
I
Wisdom,
be
right?
doing what? I
TJ,
be
you
doing what?
loved. You are loved, TJ. You are
Growing
loved.
people real. That means setting them straight.
But
You can
TJ,
use
wait
that.
1 second before you go, because I think this question is for you. I
Oh,
want my vision back. Oh no, they're saying it to them. Don't worry about that. No,
okay.
no. I was getting ready to say, did you say that? Because I didn't hear you say that. But I thought maybe they knew something I didn't. So I
No,
appreciate you so much. And we definitely
that's my saying. Grow people real. Grow people real, like setting them straight, hipping them to the real, letting them know. So growing them real is keeping them straight. So anyway, thank y'all so much.
thank you. We'll see you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, Mr. Hef, go ahead and tell us or answer the question. What are we doing? Are you said you wanted to share something with us? Are you answering the question? Are you adding something new?
Just my piece on all of it. For sure, most men come to dating sites with the intention of getting busy. But I'm a firm believer in willing things into existence. So if you put yourself out there for a certain something, those things, if you are worth that, will tend to gravitate towards you. And being raised by for women, black women at that, something that I've always noticed is that the more valuable they were, the less men wanted to play around with them. And I feel like when they have their things together, that's easily seen. And a guy respects that out the gate, and they're not going to waste any time with you. They may have intentions of getting on a site or approaching you just because they want some hanky panky, but they'll see that you're much more worth that, more worth more than that, and they will quickly deviate from all of those nefarious intentions and start to respect you and value you the way that you want to be valued. Something that I've always tried to tell my daughter's mom. My daughter's 14, so her mom has been in and out of relationships since we had our daughter, because it wasn't for me. So something I've always tried to tell her is, baby girl, you need to stop dating right now. You need to invest in yourself. And yeah, as long as you continue to date and don't have your things together, well, you only have one thing to offer men. And once they have that, what else is there for you? It doesn't matter if you're on a site. It doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing. No one cares about anything outside of that one thing you have to offer, because that's it. After they get that, what else is there to look forward to? And
that's true. That's true.
What these dating sites fail to offer is that ability to have a real interaction with you and get to know you and in a personal way. So you get pictures and you get the person's spokesperson, because no one's going to be their self outright. You get the spokesperson, and you like, oh, the spokesperson looks good. The spokesperson posts good pictures. Okay, dope. Check. Then you get out with them and you realize you're on a date with somebody who's just there for a free meal or some free drinks, and you're immediately like, what else is there other than sex? So out the gate, I would say whatever somebody puts in their bio, it can mean everything to you. It can mean a little bit of nothing. But if you are well intended, you're looking for a certain something, then you need to carry yourself as what you're looking for. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Very good. Very good.
Hit that button right
Very
there.
good. So listen, Hef, it sounds like you are a traditional man that may be looking for a traditional woman.
No, ma'am, not at all. I'm polyamorous. I have never agreed with monogamy, but I live in a world that identifies with monogamy and traditional ways. So it's easy for me to speak on these ideas, being the outcast, because every woman that I meet, majority of women that I meet are quickly turned off by me and my lifestyle. Most women want a man to themselves. So they really don't have an interest in anything that I have going on. And then I sit back and I'm like, I watch their life and what they have going on. And I'm like, well, you're not really a monogamist. You're a conformist. You cheated on him because he cheated on you. But so how are you a monogamist? You know, it's obvious that you identify with my way of thinking. You're just selfish. So,
well, I just don't want to submit to it, actually.
But that's another topic. We off topic. We don't want to go there.
We off topic. This is unsolicited.
You want to? We can talk about it. Y'all want to talk about polyamory?
No.
That wasn't what I was saying. I was answering her question. She asked me, was I traditional man? And I was just saying, this is why I feel like I can speak on these things, because being a non-traditional man, I'm able to see what everyone else goes through in great numbers, and now I have an opinion about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were exactly right. You corrected me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. But unsolicited, do you kind of, I'm kind of feeling, I don't, tell me if you're feeling like this. I'm kind of feeling like, first of all, has this dating app thing kind of just ruined it for just meeting people the traditional way? And are you kind of feeling like, oh my gosh, there's no hope? You know, like
it wasn't the dating.
I'm not gonna say that it wasn't, that it's ruining it, but it's making it real difficult. It's making it so much of a game. But I'm glad you said that, because we're gonna go back to JR in a minute, because JR is saying that he's coming up with a dating show on his channel. JR, am I saying that correct?
You are correct.
And I want to talk about how he's going to do that. But before we do that, Mr. O, you're saying it's not ruining, or do you think it is ruining the dating scene to have?
Well, I always think about this movie that recently came out on Netflix called I think it was a social experience. I don't know I forgot what it was called. But one thing I took from that movie is that, like, the internet and these smartphones was like this Pandora's box that we could not close.
Right.
It's open and it's gone forever. And they didn't realize what they was creating until after it was already released. And thinking back now, we like, what did we do? I think the dating apps are just an extension of a disease or a cancer that was already released. This is just another form of it, because you can go on any of these apps and connect with people that you would not see in your normal radius or community, and manipulate that situation for the outcome that you want. I can go on Fiverr and do that. I can go anywhere. I got access to people that I would never have access to, and people are not the same in their closets that they are outside. And so you just got more access now.
Definitely.
It's like we're choosing what's available, and this is a market that's available, and I think that it's doing more damage than it's doing good. It's got more to do with the smartphones and the accessibility than it is a particular app. Like Bumble and Tinder is no different than eHarmony and Match, even though they try to present it a different way.
Try to make it more of an edifying platform. It's still the same.
You can get the same results on Instagram that you getting on Tinder. Like it worked the same. This is how Dubai and guys in the UAE are able to connect with women in America that are famous because of a certain body type style that they would never have access to this way. It's the internet. It isn't the app. It's the accessibility to the World Wide Web, and people that are out here literally creating themselves to do things that will attract that type of attention. And I don't think that, like, it's old enough for us to really know, like, the outcome.
So you're saying the same thing that Miss Colette is saying, that it's ruining the whole dating scene, because you're saying we're picking from what's out there, and this is what's out there.
We can go back to analog phones and pagers.
You know what? I think it would be beneficial, actually. It really would be, especially for children. Especially for children. Especially.
Like, everybody's got their face in their phone all day. And that is stripping away the social experience that we have. And so all you have is this. You got women that will not speak to you at a gas pump, at a coffee shop, but they will respond to 20 DMs,
Mhm.
Wow.
but won't give me a hello in public when I pass by.
So,
But, like,
Jedi, what do you have to add to that? Go ahead.
but I'll do you one better, just like because my generation, I feel like more, I was born in '98, so I think that considered Generation Z. But it's like, but with that, it's like, no, you're talking about a good point, talking about how we're so into in terms of technology and everything. But even then, even when we have a human interaction, to me, the sign of disrespect when even when you're having on a date with somebody, that woman that she's always constantly on her phone while you're with her, and not, that's the thing that even then I don't like speak on that one where there's a level of like what actually like negative outcomes to have on the brain, especially when we have FaceTime. But yet it's better for me to text you because then to call you, 'cause I can't hear your voice, which also adds a little bit of human connection. But then instead we having a conflict, let's do it over the phone so I can't do it face to face, man to man. That's the thing. It just like back in the day, a lot of things you say, these solutions that you say that might produce maybe better outcomes for us that might be very easy to connect with the overall population, but at the end of the day, like these violent delights going to have violent ends.
I
Wow. So
think
listen.
that the internet or technology, I think that technology is going to screw us all at some point. It's going to be the detriment of us at some point in totality. It's going to get us all. And I'm not even on Facebook because I'm just so afraid of like how advanced it is.
Okay.
It's so advanced that I don't even have a Facebook because people can find me that I ain't even know was looking for me because they know somebody that knows somebody that know me. And
It
I'm
goes
terrified.
further than that, Mr. O.
Wow.
You can push that messenger
And I
button.
just made the page because I got a new business I want to promote. I
Oh
didn't want
God.
my XXXXX to find me and talk about some things that I put up. That's what Facebook is so advanced
So
that I'm
listen,
terrified of it.
I haven't. This is my first time meeting you all. Do you all have a platform that you want to shout out, or
Oh, I most definitely do. I'm
please
Mr.
do?
O, and I'm just living. You can type in right there. Mr. O is just living. I'm on my way up. With small affiliations to Conversations with King, Jen on the Block, Wanda Chica. Friend, I'm also a fan of Chef, even though there's some controversy there. But I've been making my way through these YouTube streets here recently in the last few months, and Hef is a partner of mine. I've introduced him recently, and we do co-host a show on my channel called Player's Perspective. I wanted to address something that I saw in the comments earlier. It's like people want to put you in these boxes, right? Like he's not blue pill, so he's got to be red pill. And they were like in the comment that I'm red pill. And I've had open conversations of how I think like red pill has a direct correlation to the liberation movement of women. We won't take it anymore. We're not going to stand for this. I demand that you treat. And I just think that like if you want to have a conversation to change the outcomes, then you have to make the conversation presentable in a way that women will receive what you're trying to say. Because you can't tell someone you're not comparable to this, and I'm going to choose that instead of like sympathizing or empathizing with the way she feels of why she's even in that situation. If you want to communicate with someone, then you have to communicate in a way that the message is going to translate.
I
Because
agree.
we all know that guys and women, once you say certain words, their ears shut off and they're waiting to respond to you. And they're not going to stop until they survive this altercation. And we're not moving forward doing that. So y'all check out Player's Perspective twice a week, following Conversations with King. And then I do some monologues with some different topics that I have on my channel and put out some content that I've created. And we're working on some new things right now. So and Hef I brought him into this because he's big on TikTok, and I brought him into YouTube, and we host this show together. And I'm
All right.
looking to
Well,
working with everybody soon. Colette wants to do something. I know she does. I hope she still want to work with me because I didn't respond to your email in time. I'm so sorry. And I'm a fan of Jedi Mike and JR Wisdom, man. It's a pleasure sharing the platform with you, man. It's like I watch you every day, but I never thought I would be up here with you. You're doing big things.
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for dropping by. Please
And
do.
I appreciate the boss for giving me the time. We
No
respect
problem.
the boss. Have to say something too.
More on the topic at hand of something that's interesting to me. With not appreciating where technology is going to take us. How many of us have or know people who've met their soulmate more than once? Yeah, I've never seen anyone post this or talk about this on a regular basis, because on my Facebook, the hated Facebook, I got homeboys and homegirls who've mentioned their meeting their soulmate multiple times in 1 year.
I've met mine this year.
Am I the only one? Am I the only? I can't be the only one. Okay, look, I'll do you one even better. We are coming from an era, we're raised by grandparents and grandfathers who were in 20, 30, 40, 50-year long marriages. How many of us can go back to that time where our grandma told us she wasn't absolutely happy with her husband, but that was her man? She was gonna stick by him. He was good to her. He paid the bills. He did what he was supposed to do. He was an upstanding man, and so she rode for him. The point that I'm making is the opportunity to get out here and meet someone that's more suitable or fitting to your lifestyle, your interests, your desires, on the same wavelength as you, in position to be that life partner and embark on a journey with you for the entirety of both of your guys' lives. That is more readily available today than it has ever been throughout history.
Okay, wait a minute. I don't agree. Let me tell you something. You all came to my channel tonight, but you just the first time meeting me. I am married 26 years. Happily.
Yeah.
You're
the exception, not the rule.
I got a lot of friends in the same boat as I. But listen, you got Miss Colette right above you, married 11 years, happily. So I agree with some of the things you're saying, but I think that it's more loyalty and commitment from the past than you're going to get today. But you just said it differently. Well, but I wish listen, I'm praying.
I'm listening.
I'm praying because I advocate for men and marriage. So I want exactly what you're saying as far as to meet a man and woman that you can grow with today, that can be loyal and you all have the same values and you can be happy with. I want that to happen today. But from the things that I'm hearing from you all that are dating and what's out there, it's really looking down. It's not looking too good.
We agree.
So
you're saying it different. You gotta say it different. She heard something else.
I gave those trigger words.
You gotta say it.
I want it to be that way. So it seems like if you're wanting the same thing, I'm agreeing with you. Being that it's very hard, I agree with you there too. But I thought you said, wouldn't it be nice to have? And it would be, but it just almost seems like not enough people want that.
Well, so the reason why I brought up the relationships that we grew up around that had so much longevity, a lot of our grandmas and grandparents, they settled and they grew into loving the person that they were with rather than actually finding someone that they wanted to be with. And that's just my experience. I can only speak about what I've dealt with and what I've been introduced to.
There's some truth to that because you just were you had access to what was available in your surrounding community. So you just tend to make a good deal. And then you grew to love the person that you got the deal out of life with. It's what we're more trying to say. And
we're gonna talk about that. We got another show coming where we're gonna talk about settling and all of that because I don't know. I don't know if that's the proper word, but I understand what you're saying though. But JR, how are you looking on time? Are you okay? Because I definitely want to hear about your dating show before our time runs out with you. Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm good for now.
Okay, so Jedi, did you want to add something to that? Because we're going to transition back up to the dating show because I want to hear about this dating show because it sounds like it's going to be good.
Put us on.
I'm sorry.
Did you watch the one they had a season in Houston here recently? What's the one? Ready to Love is the one.
Yeah,
they had one in Houston. I have so many like pushbacks on a lot of things because I think it's like when you like reality TV is set up for like they put people in these created scenarios and then they expect organic things to happen. and it's like it's facilitated. When the cameras turn off, then it get real. So
Right.
I want to hear his perspective on how he was going to structure and what it was going to be about. Not more of the same. I know you have like an interesting concept because your perspective on things isn't unique. So I want to hear it. I'm
Go
curious.
ahead, JR. Let's hear it.
Me too.
Yeah, shout out to H-Town. I didn't know y'all was from H-Town, but I've been trying to get there all my life. Shout out to Third Ward.
Hey, I'm from Fifth
Yo,
Ward, but I got love for the South Side too. My family in Third Ward.
already. Hey, so this how I'm gonna do it, man. So I'm not doing like no reality show. My funding isn't like that, and I don't got time to be out in the streets like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off with the ladies first because ladies are a little more reserved when it comes to like when I have a guy on the show and they call in to shoot their shot at him. So I'm gonna have a lady. It's gonna be once a week. And obviously, I'm just gonna test this out. I know it's worked, before, but I'm gonna have a lady that night, and I'm gonna interview her. Then, just like it's gonna be a live show, guys are gonna call in, shoot their shot or whatever in X amount of time, and within that time frame, I mean, we'll have the information. If she chooses them, then we'll move forward. Obviously, at the end of the night, and pursue that avenue if she decides that this is a guy that she'd be interested in linking up with, and obviously vice versa if he's interested in the conversation. So it's kind of like speed dating, if you will, with one person, well, one person in particular, but multiple prospects, if you will. So that's my intent to start it out, and I eventually want to move it over to where, obviously, because it's new, I'll be new to doing it, to where the guys are on the show, and we don't even want to get into the whole high value stuff and things like that. But this is just for everybody. A guy will be on the show, then women who may not be as reserved, because I think women tend to look at it as they're being thirsty as doing that, especially when they're in front of hundreds, if not, God willing, thousands of people eventually that they'll be shooting their shot at. So that's my intent for it. How it goes, who knows? But that's my intent for what I plan on doing as far as that, interviewing them up front, and then doing the call in, shooting their shot, and see how it goes from there. So
Is there qualifying criteria?
So that it's gonna be based upon, that's when I'm gonna be interviewing her. You know what I'm saying? When I interview her, what she's looking for, what type of guy, so on and so forth. And when the guys call in, I mean, anybody, obviously, as we said once again, anybody can have a representative and say that they make this or this is the situation, so on and so forth. But I mean, that the interview is to give, for her to provide her qualifying, material, as you said, or qualifying, things that she's looking for in this guy.
You gonna interview the guys too?
So basically, it's gonna be like how we're doing right now. So it'll be initially me and her speaking, and then I'll open it up for calls. Then the guys will call in. They'll speak directly to her. I'll be like the moderator, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
On some old school talks, dating shows and stuff. You know what I mean? And basically, he's shooting his shot or conversing with her, so on and so forth. And she decides whether she wants to move forward at that point, and then we go on to the next person.
Are we open for comments?
That's my intent.
Are your comment sections open?
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Yeah, because like the reason why the vetting process is so important is because you have entities involved that don't have the butterflies.
Right.
So in this situation, like the woman could be consumed by the butterfly effect, and then they go bad. She blame you.
She got to blame somebody.
You introduced me to this nothing, man. You know how they be talking.
Yeah.
Wow, it sounds good, JR. I'm definitely gonna be watching.
It's gonna be a good show, though.
I'm gonna be in the comment section. I'm like, no, not him. Next.
Sundry had a good
and that's what I
question.
kind of like want to do. Like the whole, I don't want to keep it where where we get disrespectful in
Right.
terms of that.
Right.
But I definitely want to get on that point in terms of that, but to be classy, straight to the point for those guys, because there are, as we discussed earlier, even on a platform like this, there are guys who are afraid of shooting their shot, even on something like that. Even though you're in front of so many people, they're still afraid. So to overcome that, you're knocking out two birds with one stone. You may be able to, match with this woman in particular that is on here and what it is she's looking for. So yeah, for
Miss
sure.
O, have you ever been afraid to shoot your shot?
Never, but like I've always been blessed with the gift of charisma and charm. I come from players, so ladies men. And
Okay.
I got it
All right.
honest, man. I ain't gonna lie. I've always been that way. I'm not afraid to get 1,000 no's to get the one I want.
There
That's
you
right.
go. Kick
That's
down
right.
those doors. So did you want to add anything else before we let you go? Because I think we got someone else that needed to come up.
Yeah, that's
But I
fine.
definitely you shout out your channel, and we already know where you come from, and you're definitely confident.
I really, really appreciate you for giving me just this opportunity and this time, because you can deal with anybody else, but you choosing mine. And I love Colette, and I've always been a fan. I can't wait to work with you soon. JR, you're a good guy, and Jedi, I'm in your fan
Already.
club.
Yeah, we'll link up, bro. We'll link up
For sure. But I don't know, man. I don't want to do too much. I don't want to influence people to do things that I do, because I don't think many people can do. I think that you need to focus on what you want out of life and just try to find somebody that can give you what you want. You can give them what you wanted. And I think in today's time, because of this internet and all the things we were talking about, people are aspiring for more than what they qualify. And I don't even think people have even put in the effort to I don't think people really want what they say they want. And trying to chase something that ain't for you, leaving you by yourself, is really the only outcome. Until you really like embrace your journey and find your path and figure out why you exist, you're never really gonna be happy. And you just looking for love in all the wrong places. The internet is not the place to be, because it's not real. And these people that find love on these sites are really like the exceptions to the rule. My homeboy is like, he was worse than me in these streets, and for him to find his wife on Plenty of Fifth, that, like, if God had to come down here himself and put that to action, I swear, I don't see how it happened, but it did, and it's working for him, and they going on 7 years,
Wow.
So I applaud that. But I'm definitely not gonna suggest guys to go on Plenty of Fish and get a wife. Like, please don't do that. Go outside. Work on your hygiene, work on your vernacular,
Yes.
and work on your catch hand, man. And at the end of that, work on getting the attention from the women that you want, man. Work on yourself. And what me and Health was talking this, I swear, because we were having this fasting conversation. It was like, can patterns go on patterns, and what's accepted, and like all this, and we're trying to attract women, right? But at the end of the day, I was like, man, if the woman believes that you believe who you are, she gonna buy it. You gotta be confident in who you are. And when you are confident in the man that you are, you got an audience. You don't even know it. It don't matter about how the rest of the world. I don't watch TV, and that was a way for me to able to hone in on myself, because I'm not involuntarily programmed anymore by this shit. But
Mr. O, we
yes,
thank
ma'am.
you so very much. But we've been here over 2 hours, and we have to go. But we enjoy what you're saying, and we definitely would like to have you back. And we appreciate you.
I appreciate you wanting me back, man. That says a lot coming from you.
Coming from me, you know me? Oh God, we
I've
just
been watching you. Yeah, I've seen you.
Yes.
You're intimidating. People are afraid of you.
Okay.
Yeah. I've always appreciated your perspective. You're not afraid to put anybody in check.
Yes, that is a fact. What you did on Anton Daniels after show with that
I'm not saying
the name.
names. I'm not doing any of that. It's a lot going on out here. I don't choose.
There you go, Mr. O. You right, Mr. O. Keep that. That's right. I'm there with you. we got to change some things. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. All right, but listen, I appreciate you. You have a good night.
We gone.
And listen, everyone here, I thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for being here, Jedi. I appreciate you all the time. You know that.
Absolutely.
JR, we didn't get through but one or two of the topics, but I appreciate you being here also. Hopefully you can come back sometime, and I'm going to continue to watch you 2 or 3 times a day. You already know.
Already.
And guys in the chat, thank you all for all your engagement. Corey, you know you're a fan fave. I appreciate you. And Gail, thank you for being here. Jamal, thank you all. Y'all have a good evening. And don't forget to put your notification bell on for unsolicited. And I'll see you soon. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
I know your mom's probably
Already.
Your pops probably want to beat my death and take in my casket, but I got sick of fighting.